Radha Madhava Sharena Ganesha Sharena Sharena Ganesha Sharena Om Ganapataye Namah.
God bless you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. On behalf of Uri Ma, she's here. Welcome. And I was in the shower and I was contemplating, what do we really know? And it's funny. In Buddhism, we only know that we exist. And there's no doubt about that. You exist. You know you exist. There's no question. And in our journey of self-discovery, that is our foundation. That is where we start from as we explore time and space, this 3D world. And we discover that other beings exist as part of our journey. And then we discover love exists. And when we discover that love exists, we discover God exists. And that powerful energy is inside us and it's around us. And then we discover that there are these beings that love is so powerfully in their aura, in their presence, in their voice, in their words, in their teachings. These great souls like Uri Ma, she exists eternally. And existence always is. There's no doubt. And as we go deeper into our own existence, we can tap into the cosmic thread of all the existences in all realms and all dimensions, and those that we have a heart tie to, that we've encountered, that we've loved. A golden thread, unbreakable, eternal, connects us to those people. And they become part of us, and we become part of them. Whether in body or out of body, in this dimension, in the fifth dimension, everywhere and nowhere. So we'll just drop into our existence, what that is. And you root yourself in existence. And then you'll discover that you can tap into something beyond time and space, some eternal part of yourself that connects you to all the eternal parts of all of us in this room as we create this beautiful powerful portal of existence. And we pull into the room Uri Ma, Lori Grant, all of her names in all the heaven worlds, her real name as it was given to her as a spirit spark from Alpha and Omega, Father, Mother, God, when she was birthed beyond time and space. It sounds like the Om. So let's just close our eyes to this world for a moment. And before we do this meditation, I'll do a prayer. And then we unite ourselves in spirit and in truth in the Christ, the crystal of divinity that we all carry, emanate, and share. We create it now in this room. O Father, Mother, God, Divine Mother, Uri Ma, Om, by all your holy names, release the light of Almighty God into our hearts, minds, and souls. Let us know and experience our eternal existence with you, with the Source, with the One. Come, O holy angels, into this room. Multiply the divine light into this room. Multiply the light within our souls and our awareness of the truth, the light, the way. Breathe the breath, the holy breath, the Shakti in each and every one of us here and online. So let's have a short meditation and just feel it. coming back. And just a few more minutes of keeping your eyes closed. And in your eye magic, your envisioning, we can see beloved Urima sitting in her chair. And we can all create etheric flowers, roses. You can see it in a vase, rainbow colored red roses, yellow, pink, anything you choose. And know it exists in the fifth dimension where she is. And then one by one we'll go and give her our roses. Thank her in your heart and in your mind and in your soul for being part of your journey. Let's see that. Now let's connect to the source, the great central sun, and the light, and thank God for her. And ask for 1 billion blessings upon her. And let the light of the source just love her, shine on her, give her joy. Whenever there is a great incarnation of the Divine Mother, she never leaves her children without a gift. And each and every one of us will receive something from her. It may come to you as a thought, an idea, a light, a feeling. And she says, because I go unto the Father, Mother God, greater works shall ye do. And an empowerment happens for all of us. A light from heaven fills each and every one of our souls with a new aspect of divinity, a new city, a new gift, divine virtue. From the grace that she's received for her lifelong work in the light and in service. Just accept. Just allow. Just absorb and drink in the light. Breathe it in. Hear it. Sense it. Take it. Living fire. Eternal flame. Source of all sources. When you're ready, open your eyes. You're back on planet Earth. I think Christy and I were talking about just doing a little sharing before we eat, just, like tell some stories about Uri Ma. I'll start off and set up the microphone. What I really appreciate, for I guess it was over 10 years she came every Tuesday, just like boom, boom, boom. She came, when I first met her, she says, I don't remember exactly, it was like, are you a 7 or an 8? And I said, I don't know what I am. And she says, don't worry about that. I'll tell you when I see you. This is the phone call we had on the phone. She was asking me about the meditation group I had on Tuesdays. And I don't even remember what she told me, but she looked me in the eyes and says, you're this. And I said, okay. A 6 or a 7. No, she was asking my megahertz or something. Yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly, other than, like I was like getting a charge from her presence and her beautiful smile. And so she would come every Tuesday, and always just like check in with me in a beautiful way, just like her eyes would go into my soul, and then she would like scan me, and then give me some sort of empowerment or some encouragement or something, and some joy that made the Tuesday meditation so fun. And also was like a source of inspiration for me in many ways. Just having her here, there was I always felt like almost like a word or some idea would drop into my consciousness, and it was perhaps because she was so close, like a aspect of truth that I'd never heard of before, and then I would just riff on it, just share like that. Thank you, Uri Ma. The night she passed, I was in Germany in an ashram, and she texted me it was in the middle of the night here, but it was probably like noon over there. And she said she was leaving, and thank you for being part of my journey. I love you. And I read it, text message. I go, I love you too. She told me, don't you dare pray that to keep me here. That was something she told me over and over again. When she wanted to go, do not stop her. And so I just said, thank you. I love you too. So I had some rules I had to obey. Elizabeth, hold this for a minute. I think I have to hook that up. Is that on? There's a big scramble getting ready today.
On? Yes, now it's on. Okay. Are you inviting me to share and pass the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know Urima Lori personally very well at all, but we meditated together really consistently, weekly for almost 3 years. And what I can say is that, one, I'm just very grateful for her presence on the planet and presence in the room. And yeah, she, even despite the challenges in the body toward the end of her life in the body, she showed up. And so, yeah, I very much, I'll share her message at the last gathering. It was something like, really take care of the physical body. What I remember her saying is that she felt that she like pushed it, just kept serving, and that she pushed it. And so she very intentionally shared that message to all of us who gathered is, really honor and nurture the physical body on the spiritual path.
Check 1, 2. Test. Why am I not getting my measurements? Check. So, check.
Well, I am just going to share this because I just heard a teaching today that the medulla, the relationship between the third chakra and the medulla, does not allow us to receive more frequencies than our body is ready to handle. That has not been my experience. Yeah, and that was not Lori's message the last time that I was with Lori in person. So, so I'll just say that in my interactions with her, I just feel drawn to send her love. And I did have that opportunity to offer that love to her before she left the body. So I'm grateful for that. And I think the biggest thing that I learned is that whatever shenanigans the personality or ego is up to, I am light. And that's it.
Samson, I usually start these with a deep sigh if you want to go with me. So I do remember the Hertz thing that she brought to the table, but before I get to that, I would come here and she would keep meditating, and I took a bit of a break for personal reasons, just like life circumstances. And at first I didn't get to know her that well, but then we started to connect, and we ate at the Yellow Deli a couple times. It's like her favorite spot right near her house. And we did get to know each other. We talked like people, not like stages, and we would laugh and we would talk about God. And there's this poem, God and I have become like two fat people in a canoe. We keep bumping into each other and laughing. And I forget if that's Rumi or Hafiz, but she reminded me of that because we were together. And, you know, she was like, I have all these students, but as I get weary and I get toward the end of my life, I don't want to interact with students and give as much. Like, I'm catching up with receiving, like you said, like receiving in the body and slowing down and sending that message. And she was like, but I like spending time with you. She said I was in 880 hertz, for whatever that meant to her, like a different frequency of consciousness. And because of that, we could just relate to each other from that divine place, like breaking the fifth wall, as if, you know, breaking the fourth wall in theater, where like they talk to the audience as if they're there with a higher dimensional acknowledgement. So breaking the fifth wall is when God makes everything ironic and hilarious and beautiful and nourishing, instead of tense and high stakes like we sometimes feel down here. And she just was really able to impart that gift and that consciousness, and that's something I do too. And with God, there's no loneliness, but sometimes with people, when you think very differently, there's a bit of an isolation in that high spiritual thinking and that vision of reality. So we would laugh and we would smile, and we still talked about our families. And I really loved that she would be vulnerable with me and, you know, relate to me as a person and a human being. And we could give each other, you know, kind of humorous and solicited advice about healing. But it was also like the irony, because everything was known to be completely perfect in all of creation because of our mutual connection to God. So it was so beautiful to know her. And when she did pass, we were texting quite a lot, and she said that she would show up in the form of a white butterfly. And I know she said that to a few other people. But if you notice the white butterflies, if you're not just kind of feeling those presences already, that's like a really palpable way that you can feel her presence and know she's watching over you and sending you some love, or helping you become aware of whatever you're thinking or what's happening in your life. So I have great adoration for her. She told me a story about Vibhuti, like the white ash that Sai Baba manifests, and the Divine Mother came to her and said, you know, I'd like you to manifest this. And she was like, can I just have all my students do it? And the Divine Mother was like, no. And I thought that was really cute, because she was like less interested in the miracles and more just interested in the raw presence of the divine. And I think that would probably be her greatest message, is the value and beauty and perfection of the divine presence. As Anandamayi Ma said, who's another incarnation of the Divine Mother on the planet, your true friends remind you of him. Not to say him, but your true friends remind you of the presence of God. And I think that's where I'll end it for now. And so much love to Uri Ma. May she enjoy her crossing to that which she chooses to go to, and may we be joyfully connected with her through the timeless space of infinity on our spiritual path. Amen.
Thank you, Samson. That was beautiful. Hello, everyone. My name is Raymond, and I have a few thoughts that came to mind. One you just kind of instigated was this old Buddhist koan that made me think of Uri, which is, once you have achieved enlightenment, there's only one thing left to do: have a good laugh. And she really seemed to embody that. Even up to the bitter end, she was still light and brought levity. And what a tour de force having a relationship with Uri. Three things came to mind for me. One is the power of one person. Two is slow down. And three is the Divine Mother, and feeling that. Sometimes this journey can feel pretty lonely, and especially for those of us on a certain vibration, as she liked to talk about. And all you need is one person to see you sometimes and be like, oh, I see what you've done, the work you've put in, the level that you're at. And even if 99% of the people miss it, it doesn't matter. That one person is so validating. And I got these lunches with her every 2 weeks for a while. We had these really fun lunches where we talked about nothing and everything. And I felt so seen by her. And I'm so grateful for that, because on this journey, there are times where I've felt quite alone and not very seen. And just having her see me, that one person that I deeply respected, I could tell it was like game recognized game. To have her see me was like, everything. And so that's the first thought. Second thought was, as you talked about as well, she talked about protecting our bodies. And in her journey, maybe she pushed it a little too hard and too many conferences and saying yes to everything. And what a beautiful message for us that she left, that we can just slow down and enjoy this ride. And the hustle culture, the greed is good, all the bullshit from the 80s, maybe that just ain't it anymore. And now it's like, slow down and let the abundance flow to you. And seeing her impart that message all the way through the end, for me, is something I'll never forget, and I'm super grateful for. And one of the really practical things she said to me was 3 breaths. So sure, you want to meditate and have your practice and be nourishing to your body, but like day to day, multiple times a day, just stop right when you get in the car, right when you get off the call, just 3 slow breaths. Such an easy, practical thing to get used to slowing down. And I've started doing that, and it's such a beautiful gift from her. And then, so that's the second thing, this idea of slow down. The third thing is actually seeing the embodiment of the Divine Mother and experiencing it. I'd never had a female mentor in my life, and there's so much value in having any mentor. Had plenty of men as mentors, but never a woman that wasn't a family member. And to truly have one finally was so incredible and nourishing, and so much nuance to it that the male mentors, God bless them, they just don't get. And that Divine Mother experience in your life, day to day, week to week, for me was so nourishing. And what comes with her in this divine feminine experience, one thing that stood out that I really loved when we had our lunches where we talked about everything and nothing, was that she really liked men. She was not shy about her sexual attraction to men and the joys of the physical experience, and just the honesty that came with that. And for me to feel normal, that it's okay to enjoy the carnal stuff but also be divine. And she really kind of embodied that you can have both. And I really appreciated that experience, just being able to talk about everything with her. So those are my 3 takeaways, this idea of, you just need one person, slow down, and really experiencing a Divine Mother. And they say that only the good die young. And it's funny because my experience with her was like this espresso shot towards the end. We met here, Dennis, thank you for this meditation group you had. First time I came here, I met her. Fitting that here is the last time I see her and say goodbye, because it was this short little espresso shot where it was all beauty and joy, and a year and a half, and we didn't have enough time to know each other to have our first fight, for instance, and maybe there's some beauty in that. But just so thankful for the Uri Ma experience. Thank you. I love you.
Take 3 breaths. 3 breaths. That's a lot. You can take a breather. I think it's in the Urantia book where when Jesus left the body as an embodiment of Christ's consciousness, he became a satellite around the planet. 1,000 satellites, so that people could tune into his message all over the planet. And I feel that what has happened is that this beloved soul has, by embodying the Christed consciousness, has those 1,000 satellites beaming down to us now. And I'm thankful for that continued presence that she embodies. So I came a little late. I spent the last 2 hours loading up 150 pounds of food from Lazy Acres. And I want all of you to leave here today with a handful of food that you'll help me get from the car. You get to pick out. So, but don't blame me if you gain weight.
My name is Clayton, and I was here last year at an event that Dennis had with Reverend Bill McDonald. And so I've never had an experience of Irma, but I wanted to find out who she was and be with some beautiful people. So that's why I'm here.
My name is Danny. Yeah, wow. I had the pleasure of knowing Uri for just a couple months before she passed. And yeah, I've had some amazing meetings and moments, and similar to what Raymond shared, and he's actually who introduced me to her, and so I'm so grateful. Yeah, like being seen by someone like I've never even met in this lifetime, but I know we've had other lifetimes together, and just feeling so seen by her on such a deep level has, forever changed me of who I am and who I'm going to become and who I'm meant to become, because I've just been so supported by her in a beautiful way. One of my favorite memories about her is the first time we got together, like gave her a hug, and then she's like, we sit down at this coffee shop, and she's like, I want you to tell me about you, but first I want to tell you about you. And I just sat there and just like listened to her tell me about who I am at like the deepest essence of my being, and how validating that felt, with just like these truth bumps and tears behind my eyes when I'm just listening to her talk, and never really being seen at that level before by someone, and just immediately feeling this resonance with her. There's just powerful being that felt so amazing to be around. Just to know like what's getting a glimpse for me of what's possible as I continue on my spiritual path, to like have been around and been in the energy of and the frequency of this high level being that embodied like so much love and so much power and so much wisdom and so much joy, like such a well-rounded person. And that's one of the things that I aspire to be in my life, is have access to like all aspects of myself. And she embodied that in a beautiful way, where she could go from just the loving joy and laughter to like really deep depth about relationships, or depths about, you know, spiritual planes of consciousness, and dropping all this knowledge on me, to being really stern with someone when needed, to being like really connective and light. And just such a blessing to have been around her. And she really has helped me to step into my gifts of who I am, and remember who I am at the deepest level, so that I can share my gifts and impact the world in the way that I'm meant to. And she was one of the catalysts that helped me to quit doing my part-time job and go all into my craniosacral and my coaching work, which I was so blessed I got to do a session with her and just be in that frequency, holding her, and her like speaking about her experience while we were together, of the colors she was seeing and this past life she saw with us. And it was just like a magical experience that I'll never forget, and I will again be like changed just by having that experience. She continues to be one of just my closest guides now. It's like I'm very connected to a few guides. Yeshua is one of them, which I love this place and all the pictures. But knowing her in the embodied form, like having so much of her personality, is like there's so much clarity and personality with her as a guide for me. And I'm just so grateful, and I love what you shared about like her energy, her consciousness that we can like tune into. It's around us, it's around the earth.
I love that. It's like we can all tune into it at any moment because the beautiful work that she did to spread that. And yeah, it just feels good to be here in person with all of you who all know her and get to honor her, and it's special. So yeah, thanks.
I'm Greg. My joy in interacting with Yuri was just watching the light come through her with each individual that she interacted with. It was like it was a spectator sport. Just to see over and over again where a new person would come into the group, and she would always, I noticed that she always made it a point to sort of take them off into a corner and say, "Oh, now let me tell you about you," or let me say that one thing that's going to spark your spark. And what a beautiful gift. And as I got to know her over time, to really appreciate how, more so than almost anyone who I've met on the planet, she lived in her higher self. She really had so much access to her own light, and there was so much of her life experience that was interwoven with that, so that even when she was interacting, down here, that was always just coming through with so much magnitude. And for me, it was just fun because, again, when you kind of can learn to watch it, it's like, wow, that was really cool. I guess I'd also like to echo just a very special connection with sense of humor. One of the phrases I just love is that you don't have a sense of humor. Sense of humor is something that you share. Someone doesn't have a great sense of humor unless you get each other, and then you go, wow, yeah. And I really appreciated that. I was also blessed with having those periodic lunches or teas or dinners with her, where we could just go and just laugh, and we just did, and closed the place down. And it was just a real joy for me, and it was really also just great about how we didn't really plan those things, but we both knew, oh yeah, it's about time for a tea. And what a wonderful blessing, and just a wonderful blessing to be able to connect and share at that level with another person was just a tremendous blessing. And the final thing that occurs, is to share that I had one of my dear high school friends passed away when she was in her early 50s of cancer, and a bunch of us went to her memorial service, and there were probably 100 people from our high school class that were there, and another 100 people from her college group and so forth. And anyway, it was just beautiful that people got up to share, and person after person would go up there and go and share a story, and then go, I thought I was her best friend. And seriously, 50 people got up and go, and I thought I was. Well, because she had the same gift similar to Lori's, that she could really see you for who you were and share with you as who you are, and just bring that out and bring that to the service and give it love. And that's just what a beautiful gift to bring to the world. And what's also, yes, she's not here in body, but that radiance continues to radiate. And God bless her.
I'm Jane, and I met Uri here at Genesis a few years ago. I'm not even sure how many years ago. And we used to go to lunch and text all the time, and it was really fun. And like you said, she makes you feel like your best friend. She's your best friend. But I was sitting here, and I could feel her energy a little bit, but I talked to her, and I said, just want to really feel you. And oh my gosh, it brought me to tears. I just felt all this so strong energy just coming down my head, and yeah, it just felt so good. And just talked telepathically a little bit, and she was just, I'm just really grateful for her, and I miss her.
My name's Aaron. We met Lori probably, I want to say 10 years. It's been about 10 years since I started my spiritual journey around 2016. And we would come to this meditation. She would sit in her chair all the time and didn't really interact with her that much for a while. And it was one of the times when we had one of the Christmas parties here and we were doing the white elephant here. And I remember it was probably one of the last ones because I had a gift stolen and I got to choose the last gift. And when I opened it up, it was just a small little package. And I remember opening it up and it was like it was a crystal, and inside of it was a little tiny white elephant stone. And because I received that, Lori, it was one of the gifts that Lori provided for the white elephant. And that was probably the first time I ever really had an interaction with her. And it wasn't a long interaction, but when afterwards we all gathered, she just kind of grabbed my hand, shook my hand and says, "So I'm glad you got that Reiki charge." She's like, "It's time for you to remember who you are." And it was very stern. Blown away, like you're not ready to hear that. But it was like, it's one of those things where it's the message that you need to hear at that time. And then a couple of other interactions was we would have like, the gatherings at the Himalayan place. And it was one of the times where we sat down and, like we never really got to talk with Lori. And I said, let's chat. And after we had lunch, we just sat there at the table, Veronica and I, and she just gave us her whole like life story. And I was like kind of blown away because, until you talk with somebody, you really don't know anything about them. And all the stuff that she did, the classes, the teaching, just who she was and all over the world. And it was very fascinating to hear that. And we had the opportunity to kind of share some of our healing work with her and meet with at their house one day, and got to know a little bit more. But she always had that very divine mother presence, always like very motherly, very caring. And it's like when you see her, you just want to give her a hug. And that's what she did. She always gave a hug back. And we didn't get a chance to see her too much after that couple interactions because we had moved down south, so we didn't get to come here all the time. And I think the last time we saw her was at the Himalayan place, and I could tell she was struggling a little bit, so I helped her, walked her to her car, and that was the last time we had seen and talked with her, and just very blessed to have had the opportunity to meet her.
Yes, I'm a stranger, but I saw the invitation on Facebook, and Dennis looked so familiar, and I felt the urge to come. And I was not going to come several times this morning, but here I am. And I'm so glad to meet you all. The auras are beautiful, and what you've done here is very, very touching and very impressive. Thank you.
My name is Anne, and I am so grateful for meeting Yuri-Ma, and she has taught me a lot. And I remember one day that whenever I said, like, I am not that or I am not this, she would say, "I don't want to hear it. Zip, zip." And yeah. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Linda, and I met Lori here at Dennis's gatherings. I did not have a close relationship with her like a lot of you were fortunate to have, but I always did enjoy her presence in the meditation.
I'm Christy, and did
she have a connection with crows? It's just cracking me up. Sorry. Crow is out here screaming.
possibly. So, yeah. So she's my soul sister. We've spent the last 19 years together. So want to tell a funny story. So, just to lighten it up a little bit, some of you who were on the online celebration heard this story, but it's about the Vibhuti. And in Maui, one of the reasons why she wanted it to come through her students is because her teachings were "We are all one," and she didn't want to feel special or above or other than, she didn't. Her teachings were that your direct communication was with God. You are God. We're not separate from that, and so she was like, this is going to give the wrong message. Well, it didn't matter because she was going to get the Vibhuti anyway. So it was, I'd never even heard of Vibhuti. I don't know if she had or not. And she had this altar in her bedroom. And she had this experience where this Divine Mother mask that she had received or that she had purchased at the Yogananda Lake Shrine. She said one night she was sitting there, it came to life and was talking to her, and so this is where she got the message about the Vibhuti. And so she had this mask on this tall dresser and a few candles also up on the dresser. Nothing, I think there wasn't much else. And when the Vibhuti started showing up, it was like it just was through the night. It's like just hit the side of the candles, and some of it would be stuck on the candles, and then some of it pulled down at the bottom of the candles. And so we would very carefully, sweep it up and put it in a special container. And I was like, "What are you supposed to do with the Vibhuti?" So she was like, "You got to see this." And I was like, "So what are you supposed to do with it?" She said, "I don't know." And so we have this friend, this dear friend, Christopher, who is a Hawaiian friend. We have many past lives with, and she comes out of her room one time. I'm sitting in the living room, and she said, "Christopher said we need to eat it." I was like, "Eat it? Are you kidding me?" And so it was very funny, and we did not do that right away. However, one time we were sweeping up all the stuff, and there was a few little tiny specks left, and she was like, "Should we give it a try?" And I was like, "Okay." So we went like that and just got, I swear, just a few little specks and went like that. And the next few hours were out of this world. I have no idea what happened. We were just like, we took some kind of drug or something. I fell asleep on the couch. She went back in her room and fell asleep. We had a play to go to that night. We were planning on going to dinner, and we went to dinner, and we were still just as high as a kite. And one of her students walks up, and I'm like, "Oh God, she has to talk to somebody." And I'm like this, and I have no idea what she said, and I don't know. We made it through the play okay, but we remembered that the word of the wise, do not eat the Vibhuti. It was, we had so many magical experiences like that. And she later used the Vibhuti in her classes and did blessings on the third eye with it. And I do still have some of it left. And I actually opened the container. I was like, "Are you going to start bringing in Vibhuti again?" So far, not yet, but she loved musicals. Sorry. And one of our favorite ones was Mamma Mia. So we watched it probably 50 times. And she was very funny because she would say, we'd be driving somewhere. She's "Things are not in the divine flow," she would say. And so there was a line from that movie that it's an adventure, Harry. And so our line to one another, anytime we felt like something was going a little rocky, was, "It's an adventure, Harry." And so I know she's off to her new adventure. And I wanted to say one thing about Robert's vision, is that I actually saw the same thing And somehow, I don't know, one time, somehow you and I connect visually in meditations. I don't know why. But what I saw was sort of like a cosmic web, and it wasn't just all her, it was all of us. And it was all of us placed at different places within that web where we are shining our own light. You know, of course she's a part of us, but we are all one, right? That's what the message is. And so I saw that in each of us, that we're all a part of that cosmic web, shining that light out, connecting with one another. And there are no strangers. I don't know if she left, but there are no strangers, and I'm glad you came. Is she there? Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm glad you came, because obviously you were meant to be here. So thank you all.
I'm Kim. I didn't know Yurima. I've just meditated with her a few times here, but I was really touched by the way she moved through death publicly. I was able to watch her process. I think a lot of us on the spiritual path are like, I'm not afraid of death. But when it comes down to it, I'm not sure that I would be not afraid of death the way that she was able to embrace death. And I think being around someone in their passing is such a gift. So I felt like it was a real gift that she gave us, just to be able to watch on Facebook and watch her updates and to feel how authentic and real they were. Like no bypassing, just true embodiment of her death process, which was very moving to me. So I was really grateful for that.
Okay, I think I can talk now. So we met Lori here at Dennis's house, and like Erin said, we didn't really start talking till a few years later, and she was always just very easygoing, always smiling. And one of the times where we were at Christy and Lori's house helping her out, I do custom cakes, and I forgot that I had one due that day. And then I got a message like, oh, when are you going to drop the cake off? And then I started freaking out, like, oh my God. And I think she sensed that I was like feeling like something was wrong. And then I said, oh no, like I forgot the cake. And then I felt bad for her because I knew she could feel it and feel the energy. It kind of disrupted everything. But she's like, it's okay. Like, and kind of, she made me feel like everything's going to be fine. And then, so I messaged the person and I said, oh, is it okay if I drop it off later? They're like, sure, we'll be here. And everything worked out fine, just like she said. And the night, I'm not sure exactly if it was on a Thursday when she passed. It was. I was working on cakes, and then it was late at night, and I felt something. It was almost like all the sound went out on my ear, and then there was like a flutter that I've never experienced before, and she came to my mind, and it was like I knew that she had crossed or she was about to, and it was very interesting to know that it was like she came to me, and like she was the first person that came to my mind. So I think the next day I told Erin that I think she passed, and then I started looking on Facebook, and I think I saw your message a couple days later saying that it was on a Thursday. I'm like, that's the same day that I got the thing. So it was kind of like confirmation that she's still here. And when we first sat down here today, I just felt like the connection, and I think Dennis felt it too, like just the presence of her with us all. And I just felt a connection between all our hearts together. And as the reminder, like she says, we're all one.
It's funny about the crow. I could hear the crow saying, just talk, just talk, just talk. And I too got the same message, Robert, whenever like a Christed one leaves the planet, there's like Pentecost, a few days later, 40 days later, whatever happens, there's when all the apostles and all the disciples and are gathered in one place, there's like an energy that will come. And that's kind of like what I felt during my beginning of the meditation. I was getting these words that she's doing this. We're her project. She is going to invest in us, and not only in the words that she gave us when she was alive, but also energetically on our journey. I heard also, she said, the best is yet to come. So we think we've reached some plateau in our spiritual journey. No, something is going to happen that's going to blow your mind. Not like the booty, Raymond, or Robert. You had that 70s reference there. Oh, you were? You ate it. I never came down. Okay. You ate the vibhuti. Yeah, one of the regulars online. Yeah. Let's see what's coming. So we have a lot of food, but it feels like we need to just drop in one more time. And I was noticing something on your spiritual eye there, right? It's rocking the vibhuti. So collectively and individually, we have the power and the authority to contact her, and the grace and the light that she embodies and holds space for us. And so just close your eyes and just accept that this is your God-given right, so that the greater works you can do. The work's not done. We're here for a purpose. And whether that's embodying the light, and sharing the light, but it's always about expanding the light. And there's a visual coming that it's a light from heaven that is pouring into our crown chakras. It's like a mighty rushing wind. It's noisy and it's powerful and it's changing and stirring things up. And it's clearing things that don't serve you anymore. It's allowing you to see a bigger picture, a higher understanding. It's going through every cell and atom and every particle of your being with a new light, a new joy, a new power. You exist. You have this body. You have this life. And you have this authority to share it, to give it out, to bless with it. It's here if you choose to take it. She's here. There is a bigger picture that we are all part of. It's a holy mission. It's like we're spiritual warriors, spiritual gangsters, stepping out of mass consciousness and reminding others they too come from that one. Now let's just all concentrate on our heart chakra and then generate love, generate gratitude, generate that power as you turn on that heart engine and fire it with new purpose, new God glory, a new glow. And then lastly, let's just say thank you. Something beautiful is going to happen around the corner, something exciting, something you've never seen before. She'll make that happen for you. Then in your own way, in your own words, just seal your prayer, seal your the closing prayer in your own way. We ask all the angels to bless the food, bless the gardener. Hopefully he'll get an electric mower one day. I pray. And it is what it is. We just accept it. Amen and amen. So go ahead and there's plates. There's Robert's brought too much food. I don't know if it's all out in the car. So eat this food first and go out and get your other food if you want it.
Thank you.